So a benchmark can be thought of as a model portfolio against which a scheme's structure or investment performance can be assessed. Now, it's important that the benchmark is both relevant and appropriate to the assets whose performance you're looking to assess. So what have pension schemes done traditionally? Well, most schemes have used a composite benchmark. That composite has been made up of relevant market indices. Now, this has some advantages. It's easy and simple to construct and understand, and it's very straightforward to measure the performance of an individual manager against its relevant market index. But the drawbacks are that the composite has no relation to a scheme's liabilities, and there's a tendency to spend too much time focusing on individual manager performance rather than the performance of the overall scheme structure. What happens when it comes to fiduciary management? Well, fiduciary management by its very nature is bespoke, and as such it's almost impossible to compare the performance of one fiduciary provider against another. And so what benchmark should trustees use? Well, firstly, it needs to be relevant to the scheme's unique liabilities. As such, we think a benchmark based on the scheme's individual cash flows is a sensible starting point for a fiduciary manager. It's then unique to that scheme's circumstances, and there's a focus on the liabilities. And if the assets can outperform that particular benchmark, then there's an improvement in the funding position of the scheme. And after all, that's what trustees are aiming to achieve. So benchmarks can be a good way of assessing the performance of a scheme structure or individual asset classes, but the benchmark must be appropriate and relevant for the purpose on which it's being used.